a stadium stands silent. The battlefield awaits. Shadows stir, legends awaken. Tonight, the clash begins. Join the Night Watch and let's sim the battle and rule the night together. Welcome to Night Night Sims. What if I told you that for years, we've all been playing a broken game? That the frustration we feel watching CPU versus CPU isn't just in our heads. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The AI linebacker with impossible reflexes snagging an interception, a 330-pound lineman being tossed aside by a cornerback, an entire offensive line that just decides to take a play off. It so often feels like it's by design, a fake difficulty meant to create moments instead of simulating football. For too long, this game has felt like a chain of scripted animations instead of a dynamic living battle between 22 players on a field. We've all felt it. That creeping suspicion that no matter how good a team's ratings are, the game has already decided what's going to happen. It's the 70 overall quarterback suddenly playing like a prime Tom Brady in the 2-minute drill. It's the running back you can't seem to tackle breaking 5 tackles on his way to the end zone. Not because of his stats, but because of a momentum engine deciding that it was time for a big play. This isn't about blaming developers. It's about a disconnect between a game we buy and a sport we love. Football is about human error, physical limits, and a beautiful, unpredictable chaos that unfolds inside a structured game. The default CPU simulation in Madden often feels like the exact opposite. A rigid system giving the AI superhuman skills to create the illusion of a challenge. It feels less like a fair contest and more like we're being cheated. It's the Robo-QB effect, where the CPU processes the field at inhuman speeds to make throws into windows that barely exist. It's the sticky-handed linebackers who catch everything, while elite receivers drop wide-open passes. It's the feeling that the game is playing with a stacked deck, and while never confirmed by EA, this rubber band AI, designed to keep games close, is a pattern that this community has seen for years, and it defies logic. But what if the code to fix it has finally been cracked? I'm not talking about tweaking a few settings from a forum. This is different. I've gone deeper. This is a complete overhaul. It's designed for the ultimate CPU versus CPU slow simulation experience. I've essentially reversed engineered the game, stripped away the layers of artificial logic, and found the exact numbers that force the AI to play with human-like tendencies, and most importantly, with human-like error. We are throwing out the old playbook of copying sliders without knowing what they do. We are building a football simulation from the ground up, using the very tools the game gives us. So stick around and I'll give you the keys. The keys to unlock the most authentic, challenging, and rewarding football simulation you've ever seen. This is where Madden stops being a video game and starts being football again. Our journey began not on the virtual field, but in spreadsheets, in the data. I didn't just guess what felt right. I started with a simple question. What does realism really mean to the NFL? It's not about every game being a 24-21 nail-biter, although those are great to have at times. It's about believable stats, believable player behavior, and ensuring a player's ratings actually matter. So my method was a 3-phase process. Phase 1 was a data dive. I analyzed years of real-world NFL stats, average completion percentages for elite, average, and poor quarterbacks, average time to throw, quarterback pressure rates, how often different tiers of running backs break tackles, how many drop passes occur per game. This data became my Bible, the benchmark for what a realistic game of Madden should produce on the stat sheet. Phase 2 was systematic isolation testing. This is reverse engineering. In CPU versus CPU slow simulations, I took one slider at a time on default All-Pro and moved it from 0 to 100. I ran hundreds of sims to document what each slider truly controls. What does QB accuracy actually do? Is it just ball placement, or does it also affect the AI's decision-making speed? I learned, for example, that the QB accuracy slider isn't just about hitting a target. It feels like it governs the AI's processing power. You set it too high, you get that robo QB. You set it too low, and a QB just doesn't miss throws. He holds the ball forever and takes sacks. Finding that perfect balance was everything. Phase 3 was the integration. This is the hardest part. Sliders don't work in a vacuum. They are an interconnected like web. Lowering QB accuracy is useless if pass blocking is so low that the QB has no time. Cranking up pass coverage does nothing if pass reaction is so high that defenders break on the ball before it's thrown. So using my findings, I mapped out how sliders affected each other. I call this the principle of slider synergy. Adjusting one setting requires a calculated adjustment to another to maintain balance. Through this process, I found the code, the specific set of numbers that transforms the game. This isn't just another slider set. This is a gameplay philosophy, which is built on real-world data and a deep mechanical understanding of the game itself. So, alright, this is the moment. We're going to walk you through the settings step by step. This entire philosophy is built for CPU versus CPU slow simulations, where you set it up and watch. It is critical that you enter these numbers exactly as shown. Remember, slider synergy. Every number is calibrated to work with the others. So, first thing we're going to do is from the main menu, you want to go to Settings, and then you want to make sure you're under the Game Options tab. These are the foundational settings for the entire experience. So when you go through these, favorite team, it can be whatever you choose. You know, I'm a huge Vikings fan, so that's what I use for Vikings. Offensive playbook, team specific. Defensive playbook, team specific. The reason I do this is because user-created playbooks actually do affect AI logic and can cause some issues at times. So if you use the built-in playbooks, one, you're going to get the different schemes. Two, they're already tested in sim, so you're just bending the numbers and everything and getting everything to work with what's already there. So now you'll get to see the team's different identities and see stuff that you'll actually see in real life on Sundays. As far as even teams, I have that off. And NFL Launch Playbooks, I have that off. So for difficulty, we're going to be running All Pro, Game Style Simulation, 12-minute quarters. The play clock will be on. Accelerated clock is on. Minimum play clock time is 20 seconds. This is imperative, and this will get you between about 110 to 130 plays per game, which is right in the realm of the NFL. That's exactly what you want. Coin toss, first choice and second choice, that's up to you. I do receive and was win. Kick meter style, classic Madden meter. Control scheme, tap and hold. Passing type, classic, slowdown off. Lead increase none. Reticle speed is 7. Reticle visibility and meter visibility, I have hidden. AI wide receiver for user teams, have off. Tackle quality text feedback and arrow feedback, I have hidden. Auto flip defensive play calls, I have on. Defensive ball hawk, off. Defensive heat seeker assist, off. Heat seeker size windows default to 100. Switch stick delay, I have none. Defensive switch assist, controlled player art, and auto pass are all off. Then for player sliders, we have injuries at 26, fatigue at 67, player speed parity scale at 50, physics-based tackling results will be at 46, and then these are your precipitation sliders. So catch chance scale is 60, pass accuracy scale is 60, pass strength scale is 55, broken tackle scale is 50, kicking accuracy scale is 65, kicking strength scale is 55, precipitation slippage scale is 60, and then movement penalty scale is 55. Okay, so now for the settings that kind of govern physicality and game flow, that's what you're going to kind of get from that. Now as far as wear and tear, you're going to have that on, and you're going to have everything at 50 except for per timeout recovery, which you'll want to put up to 75, per quarter recovery up to 75, and halftime recovery up to 85. So that will play into the fatigue setting and then wear and tear auto subs along with the regular auto subs to get the proper stuff. Alright, so now with the main menu option set, we're going to move to the penalty screen. Real football's messy, and these settings will bring that back. So when we go to penalties, you're going to have offsides at 85, false start at 85, offensive holding at 55, face mask at 60, illegal block in the back at 60, roughing the passer at 50, defensive pass interference at 90, and then all of these on ineligible receiver downfield, offensive pass interference, kick catch interference, intentional grounding, roughing the kicker, running into the kicker, and illegal contact. Yes, they are all on. Now, for gameplay sliders. For a CPU versus CPU simulation, the player skills and CPU skill sliders must be identical. Reason being is I have noticed slight differences. It's not supposed to happen, but there have been differences in stats that I've seen when the user skills and the player skills are not identical. I don't know why. It's probably just coincidence, but it is what it is. We're going to start with the player skill screen, but like I said, it's going to be identical. And these are the numbers that killed that Robo QB and forced the AI to play like a human. So you're going to have QB accuracy at 36, pass blocking at 91, wide receiver catching at 54, run blocking at 65, ball security at 51, pass defense reaction time at 47, interceptions at 32, pass coverage at 55, tackling at 55, field goal power at 55, field goal accuracy at 45, punt power at 52, punt accuracy at 48, kickoff power at 53. Okay, so again, that's going to be for player skill and CPU skill. I have them both identical, and that's what you're going to want. Excuse me. So the reason they're the same is this ensures a level playing field. So next up is going to be our auto subs. There are two sets to enter, one for the new wear and tear system and one for the standard fatigue, regular auto subs. This ensures realistic player rotation throughout the game. So we're going to go to auto subs, and for wear and tear, you're going to have QB out at 10, QB in at 40, halfback out at 84, halfback in at 90, wide receiver out at 70, wide receiver in at 75, tight end out at 65, tight end in at 70, offensive line out at 1, offensive line in at 40, linebacker out at 70, linebacker in at 75, defensive tackle out at 86, defensive tackle in at 90, defensive end out at 84, defensive end in at 90, cornerback out at 65, cornerback in at 70, safety out at 65, safety in at 70. And then for your regular auto subs, you're going to have QB out at 0, QB sub in at 1, running back sub out at 86, running back sub in at 94, wide receivers out at 75, receivers in at 85, fullbacks and tight ends out at 70, fullbacks and tight ends in at 80. And then, of course, linemen out at 0 and in at 1. For defense, you're going to have the defensive tackles out at 84 and in at 94. Defensive ends out at 84, in at 92. Linebackers out at 70, in at 80. Cornerbacks out at 65, in at 75. And then safeties out at 70, in at 80. Okay, so once you have all those, that will give you the proper rotations tied in with all the fatigue settings and everything else. Now, for a true multi-year simulation, obviously, we need to set up our franchise mode now and implement all these values. So once that's done, you're going to want to go ahead, go start your franchise. I'm just going to go into the Vikings franchise that I've already got in existence, and you guys can always check that out on the channel under the Vikings Rebuild playlist. And then once it loads in, give it a second here. First thing you want to do is you're going to want to go to Game Options. And obviously you fill out the franchise settings when you start your franchise. But then you're going to want to go in, and I always verify things, but here's the league settings for when it goes down. So, of course, All Pro, Simulation, Classic Madden, 12 minutes, 20-minute accelerated clock. I have all these off. Obviously, everything is set to manual with auto progress, weekly recap, and tutorials all off. Trade deadlines and all that's going to be on. Difficulty is normal. Motivation impact is high. And then I have everything on except for pre-existing injury, because I like to start my franchises with the full roster, especially after the, as many injuries we've had this year. You can do as you want. This setting won't really matter. This is more of a personal preference. The key thing is to make sure you have wear and tear on. Okay? And then for free agent negotiations, on stage 1 I have to 3, stage 2 to 5, stage 3 is unlimited. Pre-order bonus you can have offer on. Coach firing, you're going to want CPU only. Both of these are on. Desired X Factors I have at 35, Superstar at 100, Star Dev at 400. And then Superstar abilities, yes, they are on. Minimum roster size I have at 46, in-season player movement limit at 4, player overall cut restrictions at 85, off-season player cut limit at 4, and fill roster is on. So once you have that set and then you get into here, then you're going to want to go into franchise settings, gameplay sliders. import the ones that you saved, and then reset. There has been glitches at times that I've noticed in the game, so I always upload, reset, and then I upload twice. That's just to make sure that they are in there. So now it's in there. You can go back, and then we can go to the XP sliders. So XP sliders didn't change from my last set. These are all still working pretty good. So you're going to have, for offensive progression, XP rate. Quarterbacks are going to be 100. Halfbacks are 110. Tight ends are 130. Wide receivers at 120. Fullbacks at 60. Tackles, guards, and centers, all three at 130. For defensive progression, you're going to have edge rushers at 120. Defensive tackles at 110. Middle linebackers at 130. Outside linebackers at 124. Cornerbacks at 114. Free safeties at 110. Strong safeties at 110. For special teams, kickers and punters, both at 100. Age progression, you'll have 200 at 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. For 25 and 26, you'll be at 150. Then for 27, 28, 29, and 30, you will be at 100. And then 70 at 31 and 32, 50 at 33 and 34, and then 10 at 35 plus. Now for aggression, you'll have 100 for QBs, halfbacks at 120, tight ends at 110, wide receivers at 100, fullbacks at 80, tackles at 110, guards at 100, centers at 90. For the defense, edge rushers at 120, D tackles at 110, middle linebackers at 110, outside linebackers at 120, cornerbacks at 100, free safeties at 90, strong safeties at 100. For special teams, kickers and punters both at 80, and then for age regression, 26 would be 50, 27 60, 28 is 70, 29 is 80, 30 is 90, 31 is 100, 32 is 120, 33 is 150, 34 is 180, and then 35 is 200. So these values will all ensure that players develop and decline realistically over a franchise, preventing a league full of 99 overall players after a few seasons. And now once you've entered all these values, you've installed the code. Once all this is set, this is what you want. So the only other thing you need to do is go in and make sure that you set your auto subs, your regular auto subs, which again is going to be QB in at 1, out at 0, halfback in at 94, halfback out at 86, receiver sub in at 85, receiver sub out at 75, fullback tight end sub in at 80, fullback tight end sub out at 70, offensive line in at 1, offensive line out at 0. For defense, tackles in at 94, D tackles out at 84, edges in at 92, edges out at 84, linebackers in at 80, linebackers out at 70, cornerbacks in at 75, cornerbacks out at 65, safeties in at 80, safeties out at 70. And then make sure you accept and continue so that it's saved in there. And now, like I said, you have installed the code. So what does this all actually look like? Let me paint you a picture. It's third and long. A mid-tier vet QB drops back. Instead of an instant laser beam, you see him hesitate. He scans left. Then he scans right. A defensive end wins his matchup and closes in. The QB feels the pressure. He hitches. He scrambles right, trying to buy a second. He spots the receiver coming open late, but he throws on the run. And the pass sails just a bit high. It tips off the receiver's fingers. Incomplete. Punt team comes on. That sequence, the hesitation, the scramble, the bad throw under pressure, is a direct result of our slider synergy. It feels real. It feels earned. Let's try another. A team is running the ball. On default, it's either a bust in the backfield or a massive haul for 20 yards. Here, it's different. The line gets a good push, but it doesn't dominate. A small crease opens. The back uses his vision, cuts, and a safety comes down to fill the gap. The back braces for impact, stumbles, keeps his balance, and then drags the safety for an extra 3 yards. A hard-fought, gritty 6-yard gain. That is NFL football. One more. The offense is driving late. They're down by 4. The QB throws a deep post into one-on-one coverage. In the old Madden, your stomach would drop, knowing this is likely a scripted touchdown. But now, the play unfolds organically. The corner is in perfect position. He turns his head as the ball arrives. He doesn't make some physics-defying interception. He just puts his hands up and bats the ball away. It's incomplete. A simple, believable, and huge defensive play. This is drama born from realism, not from a script. This becomes the new normal. You'll see QBs throw the ball away. You'll see dropped interceptions. You'll see holding calls that kill a promising drive. And you'll see pass interference on the defense that will sustain promising drives. You'll see a game that reflects the sport in all of its beautiful and messy glory. Now, for the real football nerds who need to know why, I'm going to pull back the curtain on the logic you've just implemented. The most important relationship is the QB accuracy and pass blocking synergy. As I said, lowering QB accuracy to 36 fundamentally changes the AI, introducing a decision latency that makes the QB mortal. But doing this alone would break the game. He'd be sacked constantly. By raising pass blocking to 91, we create the counterbalance. We're essentially telling the game we're nerfing your QB's brain, so we have to give his bodyguards a fighting chance. This synergy creates a realistic pocket and is the foundation for everything else. Next is the defensive backfield, which is governed by the pass reaction time, interceptions, and the pass coverage slider triangle. For years, Madden defense has been defined by psychic DBs. My code deconstructs that. Lowering pass reaction time to 47 is step 1. Inserting a crucial human delay between a throw and the defender's break. Then, lowering interceptions to 32 attacks the sticky hands problem. Now, even if a defender is in position, a pick isn't guaranteed. Finally, I put pass coverage at 55 to ensure that while defenders are less reactive and have worse hands, they still have the football IQ to stay in position. This triangle creates a secondary that plays disciplined football without being superhuman. Finally, consider the tackling, run blocking, and ball security relationship. This trio governs the physical battle. Setting tackling to 55 for both sides establishes a consistent baseline for how tackles play out, letting player ratings shine. We then set run blocking to 65, a value carefully calibrated against our tackling setting to create a balanced ground game. It allows the line to get a push without flattening defenders, forcing a dynamic battle. To complete the trio, ball security at 51 means a big hit is now more likely to jar the ball loose. This interconnected system ensures that the running game is a consistent, physical fight for every single yard. Understanding these synergies is key. This isn't just a list of numbers, it's a finely tuned engine. Each part is calibrated to work with the others to produce one thing: authentic, unpredictable, and deeply rewarding football. So there you have it, the code, the keys to a new game. You now have the numbers to transform Madden from an animation-heavy arcade game into a deep, compelling football simulation. You've seen the method, you have the instructions, and now you understand the philosophy. The era of the Robo-QB is over. The era of superhuman linebackers is over. The era of feeling like the outcome is scripted is over. In my words, can only take you so far. The final step is now yours. I challenge you. Put this code into your game. Enter these settings exactly as I've laid them out for a CPU versus CPU slow simulation game and watch one full game. Not just a quarter, but a full 12-minute quarter game. Matter of fact, watch 2 or 3 and see the difference for yourself. See the struggle. See the satisfaction of a hard-earned first down. See the tension of a fourth quarter drive where the outcome is truly in doubt. When you do, come back here and share your results. Let me know what you see. Tell me about the realistic plays, the human-like errors, and the moments of unscripted drama you experienced. Your feedback is crucial because this is a living project. I will keep refining this code together with you as a community that loves authentic football. The journey to crack this code was a true labor of love. If you appreciate this deep dive approach, do me a huge favor and hit that like button, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. We are just getting started. This is more than just a game now. It's a sandbox for strategy. It's your own personal football universe, and you are the architect. Welcome to the future of Madden. Welcome to real football. The stadium stands silent. The battlefield awaits. Shadows stir, legends awaken. Tonight, the clash begins. Join the Night Watch and let's sim the battle and rule the night together. Welcome to Night Sims.